And look at this. Our temperature in the triangle just jumped to 87 here at 8 o'clock. It feels like 97. Of course, it's going to feel easily like 110 or hotter through the afternoon. I'll show you what it will feel like where you are.
And an irate Donald Trump addresses the media about Iran and Israel breaking his brokered ceasefire deal. His strong words coming up.
In breaking news, 2 people are seriously injured after a shooting in Durham. We're giving you an update of what we've learned in the last hour from the WRAL breaking news tracker. Plus, a child was killed in a shooting. Police are looking into what they are calling an accidental shooting involving a 4-year-old. We'll have what they know so far and hear from people who were there at the scene. Some obviously heavy stories that we're covering, but we do have some lighter ones as well as you're joining us here on WRAL News and Fox 50 in our 8 o'clock hour. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Lovingood. And just a reminder, today is a WRAL Weather Alert Day. We have been watching that very closely. In fact, Elizabeth is here to talk a little bit about the temperatures and the heat index, too.
Yeah, so this is happening just now. The new temperatures just came in, and the triangle is 87, but it feels like 97. And the heat index is in the 90s in a lot of places already. 90 in Southern Pines and Fayetteville. Feels like 91 in Goldsboro, 93 in Rocky Mount, and 91 in South Hill, and it's only 8 o'clock in the morning. We do have a rare extreme heat warning. It's going to feel like 100 to 115 across most of the viewing area, 104 to 109 down here across Moore and Hoke counties with the heat advisory. Definitely hot out there. This is a live look at Durham, 87, our dew point 75. That's the reason that the heat index is 10 degrees hotter than that. And the reason for that is the way humans cool their bodies as you sweat. That sweat evaporates. It creates evaporative cooling, and it cools our bodies off. Well, if there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere already, there's no place for that moisture on your skin to go. It can't get into the atmosphere, so your body doesn't cool itself, and it feels much hotter. So our heat index this afternoon and the triangle 112, actual high temperature around 102, which would break the previous record of 100. We tied the record yesterday of 100. Tomorrow, another extreme heat warning and some severe storms later in the day. I'll show you when. Coming up, Ken.
Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We got some congestion building on some of the major routes, but there are a couple of incidents in the Cary-Morrisville area that I want to bring your attention to. This one is an overturned vehicle at Morrisville Carpenter Road in westbound near Chapel Hill Road. You can see no delays in the area, but we're seeing some major delays because of this crash on Evans Road in the westbound lane near Aviation Parkway. You see all that red showing up there. So if you live in this particular area of Morrisville or the Cary area, just know you'll see some police activity. Heavy congestion building on the southern loop of the Beltline. You can see it starting around Lake Wheeler Road and going all the way over to the curve right there in Cary around Jones Franklin Road. So even the northern loop of the Beltline, we're seeing a bit of congestion as well. This is a live look at I-440 and New Bern Avenue. You can see the bumper traffic just moving along there. In terms of the delays in that northern loop of the Beltline, you're looking at a 9-minute delay. As for other routes coming into the capital city, here's what you're looking at. A 10-minute delay there coming in from Apex this morning. 5 minutes if you're coming in from Wake Forest, and an 8-minute delay if you're joining us from Knightdale this morning.
In the last half hour, we have heard from President Donald Trump about the fragile ceasefire in the Middle East that appears to have already broken down. He was talking with reporters before leaving for a NATO summit, and he expressed disappointment about continued attacks. That's why Jeff Hogan has been following this minute by minute in the WRAL Live Center.
Yeah, Chris, disappointment would be a light way to put it, because President Trump was furious as he addressed reporters before he left for that NATO summit. This is one of his earlier tweets right there, but the president flashed some intense anger, talking about both sides, Israel and Iran, as the ceasefire that he brokered broke down just about as soon as it started. And he said Israel didn't waste any time, within hours, quickly violated that truce, particularly unhappy with them, but really mad at both sides.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Simple terms to understand. I want to show you this tweet right here as we look at what his latest, this is on again, off again, this truce, okay? So he's saying that now Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home. Nobody will be hurt. That's just the latest. We'll stay here in the Live Center for more.
Yeah, as you said, the president putting it quite plainly there. Thank you, Jeff. Breaking news, as we have learned, 2 people were injured in an early morning shooting on Umstead Street in Durham. And the WRAL Breaking News Tracker has been at that scene talking with law enforcement for quite some time. Here's Ali Kadlabar.
Officers and detectives were here for more than 5 hours investigating and gathering about 20 bags of evidence from that sidewalk and street corner where they found a woman and man shot. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker around 3:15 a.m. That's just 45 minutes after officers found a man and woman seriously hurt. We saw police and markers on the sidewalk and street. Detectives even walked down Fayetteville Street, scanning brushes and trees. We're still working to find out if a suspect has been arrested, as well as the condition of the victims. Reporting in Durham, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
And Durham police are also investigating what they say appears to be a 4-year-old who was killed in an accidental shooting. Police say officers were sent out to North Briggs Avenue around 9 p.m. and that's where they found that child suffering from a gunshot wound. He was rushed to the hospital and that's where he later died. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there all night as well. And our team spoke with a woman who was there for that shooting aftermath.
Oh my God, oh my God, you know. No is all I could say is no. And then I walked up and the mom had enough people around her that I just grabbed the baby girl and just held on to her because she was screaming.
And Durham police say right now it appears the boy could have been accidentally shot after finding a gun inside the home. We are asking police how that boy was even able to get his hands on that gun. Today, you're likely running your AC just a little bit more because of the heat, but the more you use it, the more it costs you. And WRAL's Laura Levine is in Johnston County this morning with ways that you can stay cool while keeping those costs down, Laura.
Well, listen, Chris, it's 8 o'clock in the morning and we have this little thermo on the go that's already reading 89 degrees out here in Johnston County. So as many people are being encouraged to limit their time outdoors, spend more time indoors, well, that means the HVAC systems are running and your energy bills, well, they could also go up if you're not careful. So not only will we see HVAC technicians really strained this week, but also the power grid will feel it. As scorching temperatures grip the Carolinas, Duke Energy is urging customers to reduce energy usage. They're asking residents to take simple steps to conserve energy during the day and afternoon hours. And these steps include raising thermostats to the highest comfortable setting, postponing laundry and dishwashing, avoiding prolonged use of ovens and stoves, and turning off unnecessary lights and appliances.
When energy usage goes higher, that's a great opportunity in order to save even more on your bill. So, for example, even just turning your thermostat down just a couple of degrees is going to translate into savings on your bill.
And as we're standing out here, we continue to see the temperature rise just a little bit. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning. So with those tips and information from Duke Energy, they're also saying that those small little changes that you make inside your home can really make a big difference. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Johnston County.
Investigators say a man is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries because he was shot. What you're seeing here is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. Durham police say they responded just before 8 p.m. to a shooting on Ash Street. And that's where officers found a man who had been shot. And that investigation, it's still going right now. Under a proposal set for a vote today, the price of a Wake County school meal would go up next year. The school board will consider raising the price of breakfast and lunch by 25 cents per meal. It would be the 4th price increase in the past 4 years. WRAL Education Insider Emily Walkenhorst says cost increases are behind the increase in the meal prices.
The nutrition department, different leaders there have basically said for years now that the cost of food is going up and, they're paying employees more. There was a big vacancy in employees up until a couple of years ago when they increased wages. Well, part of that is they increased the cost of actually running these departments.
And they expect to need at least $3 million more next year. You can find out more and follow our coverage today in the education section of WRAL.com. New this morning, Knightdale's town hall is closed today. That's because of an internet outage. The town says the outage may also affect email access and some online services. Town leaders say they are working with their service providers to fix that problem as soon as possible. And happening today, the Department of Transportation will dedicate a bridge after State Trooper A.J. Stocks. Trooper Stocks was hit and killed in September 2008, and that was because a truck hit him. He was responding to a crash at the time in Wake County. And the NC 36 Veterans Parkway Bridge over Interstate 40 will be named after him. The ceremony will be held at the Cleveland Fire Department, and that's in Clayton at 10 a.m. Covering Lee County, a nonprofit in Sanford is hosting a ribbon cutting for its newest homeless shelter this morning. Outreach Mission is opening its new community shelter on South 3rd Street, and that event is scheduled to start at 10 a.m. Your time is 8:10. Stuck in the heat. Passengers in Baltimore were trapped in sweltering temperatures after their train broke down on the track. Here's why Amtrak said things went wrong. And shrimpers pushing back. Lawmakers are considering a ban on an inland trawling. We're going to explain the possible impacts of this ban and what shrimpers are planning to do about it today.
And temperatures are really heating up fast here in the 8 o'clock hour in the Triangle. We've already hit 87, but feeling like 97. It's a rare extreme heat warning for us today. I'll show you what the temperatures will feel like where you are. 8:13, extreme heat warning. In effect today and again tomorrow. It'll feel like 110 to 115. This is a rare event for us. We can go years without seeing an extreme heat warning. And meteorologist Chris Michaels is coming up in just a few minutes to talk about how often we do see this. It's a heat advisory down here across Moore and Hoke counties. It'll be 104 to 109 this afternoon. Also very dangerous. We were all a little bit surprised by just how quickly we're warming up, especially here in the Triangle. We've hit 87 in the 8 o'clock hour, and it feels like 97 already. And so we're looking at, as much as 8 to 10 hours of triple-digit heat indices in the Triangle. It feels like 90 in Fayetteville, 91 in Goldsboro, 93 in Rocky Mount. So already feeling like 90s across most of the viewing area. And again, 87 currently with a dew point of 75. That's a really high dew point, meaning there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So this is the way it's going to look. I'll back up a little bit. It may be, that we're already seeing triple digits by 9 o'clock, but looking at, at least 99 by 10, and then all the way to 8 p.m. at 102. So we're just not getting a break even during the evening hours. Our high this afternoon, 102, which would break a record. We still have extreme heat tomorrow, and it only backs off slightly through the weekend. I'll show you coming up, Ken.
Hi, Elizabeth. Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we see some heavy congestion building on some of our major routes, including I-40 coming in from Gardner around Jones Sausage Road. As we isolate the Beltline, we can see that heavy congestion starts at Lake Wheeler Road. Also, that northern loop of the Beltline, you're seeing it jammed up as well. Here's what it looks like, courtesy of a live cam network, I-440 and New Bern Avenue. In terms of delays, you're looking at an 11-minute delay on that northern loop of the Beltline.
Amtrak passengers in Baltimore ended up trapped on their train for more than an hour in sweltering heat. The train stalled in a tunnel just north of Baltimore's Penn Station yesterday, and passengers were stuck without any AC or electricity. And so train employees began handing out water after about 30 minutes' time. Another train even had to arrive to tow the stalled train back to the station. In a statement, Amtrak said the train experienced a, quote, locomotive malfunction. Some lawmakers in Washington are trying to limit President Donald Trump from taking more action against Iran without congressional approval. The U.S. Senate is expected to vote this week on a bipartisan resolution put forth by Democratic Senator Tim Kaine. Now, this bill, which would serve as a symbolic rebuke, needs several Republicans to join Democrats to reach the 51 vote threshold. Meanwhile, in the House, Democrats are reportedly putting forth a measure that would order Trump to end U.S. involvement in Iran. And Democratic lawmakers in Washington are gathering to observe the 3-year anniversary of the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Senate Democrats will be holding a shadow hearing, as they call it, on abortion and reproductive care. That's essentially allows lawmakers to hold a public forum without seeking approval from Republican leaders in the Senate. President Trump said he would veto a federal abortion ban and leave the issue to the states. Shrimpers are expected to protest at the state legislative complex because of a proposed inland shrimp trawling ban. Now, recently, North Carolina senators approved a plan to pay the commercial fishermen who would be affected. The unanimous vote last week quickly led to death threats against the senators who supported it. And legislative critics said the ban would destroy the shrimp business in the state and take down other related businesses. Supporters say the ban would allow other fish to thrive in the Pamlico Sound. They argue this would actually be a boon to recreational fishermen from across the state. We're getting an early look at an audit into the North Carolina DMV. It found the department needs more driver's license examiners and more flexibility for current staff. DMV offices across the state have seen long wait times because of staffing problems. You have seen us cover this time and time again. The full audit on the DMV will be released at a later date. All right, back to what we're talking about, right? That weather alert day. Most of our area under an extreme heat warning for the next 2 days. And so meteorologist Chris Michaels, he got curious. So he looked at the decades of data to see just how rare a heat index, Chris, of 112 degrees is in our area.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, and you wouldn't think that, especially because the past 2 years we've hit that mark once or twice. But today we're expecting the heat index, the feels like temperature, to peak between 108 and 112, with that 112 being focused in parts of the triangle. So the past 80 years of data, it's happened 8 years out of that. So statistically speaking, about a 10% chance overall. But all 8 of those years have come since 1999. So on average, the peak heat index throughout any summer in the triangle is 106 to 107. We're forecasting it to reach 112, hence the extreme heat warning. The record set last year at 117.6 degrees. But I didn't want to just focus on the triangle. I wanted to look area wide. And what I found is that the data only really went back to 2000 for most of us. You see the heat index north of I-40 usually peaks between 100 and 105. In the Sandhills, 110 to 115. In the triangle, 105 to 110. Now, the extreme heat warning in effect through tomorrow, but there may be additional heat advisories issued later in the week. Elizabeth is going to explain why coming up in just a couple minutes.
All right, sounds good, Chris. Thank you. City leaders in Fayetteville have updated the enforcement of its juvenile curfew, and juveniles caught violating the curfew will not be charged. The parents will be fined instead. The curfew hours are 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. and apply to anyone 16 years and younger. Covering Wake County, the next free HIV testing event, it's today, and this is put on by Wake County Public Health. Testing will be available for HIV and other STIs, and $25 gift cards will be available while supplies last. Today's event is at the Eastern Regional Center in Zebulon. That is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and another event like this is scheduled for Thursday in Wake Forest. The Youngsville Police Department will give people a chance to ask questions at its Coffee with a Cop event. Officers will be at the McDonald's on US 1 in Youngsville from 9 to 11 this morning. And the department says people can engage them about any questions or concerns they may have in the community. All right, so we are looking right now at the second weather alert day in a row for this week. We're not done just yet. We have Elizabeth Gardner, who is tracking that right now with a live look at RDU, and it looks clear in the skies, but I know it's out there, Elizabeth.
We do. You know, the clear skies with this weather pattern, definitely not your friend. You know, if the clouds would roll in, it would definitely help keep the heat down. But here at RDU, we've already hit 87 degrees, and it feels like 97. We do have that extreme heat warning. We saw, of course, a weather alert day yesterday. We're going to see one today and again tomorrow. Tomorrow, we also have another extreme heat warning. It'll feel like 110 to 115. We could see 8 to 10 hours of triple-digit heat indices today. So it's not something to mess with. Again, already feeling like 97 here in the triangle. The heat index is on the right, the actual temperature on the left. So it feels like 90 in Southern Pines and Fayetteville, 93 in Clinton and Rocky Mount. Already feels like 95 in South Hill and 91 in Goldsboro. So almost everybody's feeling like the triple digits already. It'll feel like up to 112 this afternoon and 111 tomorrow, and then 106 for Thursday, Friday, and possibly even into Saturday. The Weather Service may extend a heat advisory all the way into the weekend. So why is this happening? I mean, this is an unusual pattern for us. We can go years without having an extreme heat warning, but we have a huge heat dome over us, which is a high pressure system. That high is sinking, and as that air sinks, it compresses and heats. And if it just sits there, it continues to build. So the heat grows, kind of like you turn on your oven, and the longer the oven is on, the hotter it gets, and it's just sitting over us. And until it moves out, we're going to continue to see our heat building across the area. So at 10 a.m., feeling like 99, by 11 o'clock, 101, and it's likely to stay that way all the way until, say, 9 o'clock, when temperatures will feel like upper 90s. So there's really not going to be a good time to get outside today or tomorrow. Now, the change tomorrow is we'll have a low that kind of slips underneath the heat dome. That's going to produce some showers and thunderstorms in the mountains, and those are going to make a run at us. And some of those could be strong to severe. It's a level 2 risk, and so we could have the potential for some isolated wind damage. Things are pretty quiet up until around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll pause it right there at 4, and you can begin to see a few cells popping up, especially in our southern counties, but there's really nobody that wouldn't be at risk for seeing some storms, but about 40 to 50% of the area would be covered by those storms. It's a level 1 risk on Thursday. Wednesday, 40%, about a 20% Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So it's not a huge chance for storms, and that's why our temperatures are likely to stay so high. We'll keep it in the mid to upper 90s 90s all the way into next week, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. I want to take you to the Morrisville-Cary area because we've got a situation brewing in Morrisville on Chapel Hill Road. Whenever purple shows up on the map, there's something going on. And Chapel Hill Road remains closed from Aviation Parkway all the way back to Airport Boulevard. Of course, there's this other crash on Aviation Parkway and Evans Road. So I'm keeping an eye on that to let you know what's going on and trying to make some calls to figure out what's going on Chapel Hill Road. Of course, many of you use the Beltline as a route to and from work in the morning. You can see the congestion building starting at Lake Wheeler Road and coming over those I-87 lanes out of Knightdale and that northern loop of the Beltline. That's what you're looking at. Here's what it looks like, courtesy of our live cam network. You can see the bumper-to-bumper traffic at I-440 and New Bern Avenue.
Pretty busy out there. All right, thank you, Ken. Your time is 8:23. Rough ride. 5 people were injured after experiencing what the airline calls turbulence on a flight bound for RDU. We're going to tell you more about what we know about that flight as we hear from a passenger who was aboard. And saving on cell service. 5 on your side shows you the easy ways to save big bucks on your cell phone bill.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Your time is 8:26. I'm Chris Lovingood. It is a WRAL Weather Alert Day, as you just heard there, and Elizabeth Gardner has been tracking that all morning long.
It's going to feel like 110 to 115 for us this afternoon across most of the area. It is a heat advisory here for parts of the Sandhills, feeling like 104 to 109 in Moore and Hoke counties. Definitely too hot to spend much time outside today. It's 84 in Wilson, already 87 in Durham and 84 in Fayetteville. The heat index is already in the 90s, and by around 11 o'clock, it'll feel like triple digits. And it stays that way until, say, 8 o'clock. Our actual high this afternoon, 102, which will break the previous record.
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We want to start in that Morrisville-Cary area because we're trying to figure out exactly what's going on there. Because you see purple showing up on the map starting at Aviation Parkway all the way back to Airport Boulevard. Of course, there's also this crash on Evans Road right there at Aviation Parkway. Those two intersections, we've got some calls in to figure out exactly what's going on to let you know what's really happening there. We're seeing some major congestion there in Johnston County, starting right around the I-40, starting right around Cleveland Road, all the way back to McGee's Crossroads. I'll keep an eye on that, let you know how much that's going to continue to affect your morning commute.
2 people are hurt because of an early morning shooting in Durham, according to authorities. Officers responded to East Umstead Street just after 2:30, and officers found a man and a woman who had been shot. At last check, both of them are in serious condition. And the price of a Wake County school meal would go up next year under a proposal set for a vote today. The school board will consider raising the price of breakfast and lunch by 25 cents per meal, and it would be the 4th price increase in the past 4 years. We'll be following that for you parents here on WRAL. Next on Fox 50, keeping energy costs down as we deal with extreme heat all across our area today.
A rare extreme heat warning in effect today and again tomorrow. The heat index well into the triple digits. I'll show you how early we'll see triple digit heat indices coming up.
Exceptionally firm and direct. Details from President Donald Trump's phone call to Israel's prime minister on board Air Force One.
And we're also following a story as 2 people were shot in a Durham neighborhood, which is why we have been at that scene all morning long to get you a breaking update with what we know about those victims. A lot happening right now at 8:30 as you are tuning in to WRAL News and Fox 50. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Chris Lovingood. Folks, seriously, today it's a weather alert day. It's going to be very hot outside. Please take it seriously. And Elizabeth Gardner is here to explain why you should be doing that.
That extreme heat warning means that we'll see a heat index from 110 to 115, and our temperatures are warming up very fast out there. This is rare. It's unusual for us to have an extreme heat warning. We can go years without seeing one. We have 2 in a row, and we may have more heat advisories posted for the next several days into the weekend. Right here in Moore and Hoke County, it's a heat advisory. It's 104 to 109, so just slightly cooler, but still in the danger zone. Look at this. This is where the heat index is falling right now. 97 in Durham and Raleigh. It feels like 95 already in South Hill, 91 in Goldsboro, 90 in Southern Pines and Fayetteville. So we're really seeing things heating up fast. This is a live look at downtown Raleigh, down Fayetteville Street from our Jimmy V camera. It looks hazy out there. It is hot, 87 with a dew point of 75. That means there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere and your body will have a hard time cooling itself. Look at how many hours in a row we'll have a triple-digit heat index today. Starting at 11 o'clock, 101, it'll take us all the way out to 8 o'clock. So between 8 and 10 hours in the triple digits for today. So you can see how dangerous that will be. And we don't get a break anytime soon, even with a chance of storms tomorrow. I'll explain. Ken?
Well, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're going to get right to the Morrinsville-Cary area. And specifically in Morrinsville, we're seeing purple showing up on the map in terms of Chapel Hill Road. Chapel Hill Road remains closed from Aviation Parkway all the way back to Airport Boulevard. And then, of course, first responders are working this serious crash at Evans Road westbound and Aviation Parkway. So a couple of things going on in that vicinity. So if you live in that area, just know you see quite a bit of police activity. In Johnston County, we're seeing quite a bit of sold starting at Cornwallis Road, going all the way back to McGee's Crossroads. Your best bet will be to take Highway 50 as an alternate route if you're coming in from Johnston County this morning. Just avoid what's happening there on I-40. Boy, we're seeing it jammed up on the southern loop of the Beltline as well as the northern loop of the Beltline. This is what it looks like on the northern loop, I-440 and New Bern Avenue, looking at an 8 to 10 minute delay on that section of the Beltline. You're getting ready to head into the Cartoonist Inn on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
This morning, we have heard from President Donald Trump about the fragile ceasefire in the Middle East that appears to have already broken down. He says that he is upset with both Iran and Israel over continued attacks, and he spoke with reporters today before leaving the White House, and Jeff Hogan's been following that this morning in the WRAL Live Center. President not happy. I mean, that's the real easy way to say it there, Jeff.
Yeah, he came out of the building furious as he was headed to that NATO summit about to get on Marine One, mad that Iran and Israel both basically immediately violated the ceasefire, but particularly upset with Israel because he said within hours they violated it. So he made a phone call as soon as he got on Air Force One, made a phone call to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu telling Israel to calm down.
I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either.
So there's a White House source on board that plane that said that the president was exceptionally firm and direct in his conversation with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and hopes that moving forward there can be a sustainable ceasefire to keep in place. And just after that, he reported on Truth Social, made a post saying that fighter jets have turned around. The ceasefire is again in effect.
Being the goal there, but will that happen? We'll watch closely. Thank you, Jeff. We're following breaking news as we have learned 2 people were injured in an early morning shooting on Umstead Street in Durham. And the WRAL breaking news tracker has been there for hours speaking with law enforcement. Here's Ali Kadlabar.
Officers and detectives were here for more than 5 hours investigating and gathering about 20 bags of evidence from that sidewalk and street corner where they found a woman and man shot. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker around 3:15 a.m. That's just 45 minutes after officers found a man and woman seriously hurt. We saw police and markers on the sidewalk and street. Detectives even walked down Fayetteville Street, scanning brushes and trees. We're still working to find out if a suspect has been arrested, as well as the condition of the victims. Reporting in Durham, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Staying cool is top of mind across our viewing area, but setting that thermostat lower, it could come at a higher cost. WRAL's Laura Levine is in Johnston County this morning, presumably not as cool as she would like to be, but for a good reason there, Laura.
Yeah, you basically explained it perfectly, Chris, because right now we are burning up. And so that means a lot of people will likely be sitting a lot of time indoors this week, really putting their HVAC systems to the test. And while people are spending time indoors, that means that the price of their energy bill could also go up. So HVAC technicians, they're hard at work this week, but the power grid, there's also concern there. Scorching temperatures gripping the Carolinas right now, so Duke Energy is urging customers to reduce energy usage. usage. They're asking residents to take simple steps to conserve energy during the day. And these steps include raising thermostats to the highest comfortable setting, postponing laundry and dishwashing, avoiding prolonged use of ovens and stoves, and turning off unnecessary lights and appliances.
Using those heat-producing appliances in the cool morning hours is recommended. Also, turning your thermostat up, like let's say you're out for the day working or doing errands. That's a great opportunity if you have a smart thermostat to turn it up a few degrees.
Yes, she says higher usage means the higher your bill will be. So these small changes can make a big difference, not only to maintaining normal operations, but also protecting the power grid during severe and extreme weather conditions. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Johnston County.
Parents, just a heads up, we expect to get an update on the Wake County School District's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning status. Wake School Superintendent Robert Taylor is set to discuss this with the school board today. We're talking more than 60 schools that have missed at least one day of school in the past 2 years because their heating or their air conditioning simply was not working. You can find out more of our coverage today at the education section of WRAL.com. Durham police are investigating what they say is an accidental shooting in which a 4-year-old boy was killed. Officers found the child around 9 last night on North Briggs Avenue, and EMS took him to the hospital. That's where he died. 911 recordings from the Durham City Fire Department painted a very emotional scene.
52 Durham, can I please get a chaplain to the scene for disturbed mother?
Chaplain's already been notified.
Now, it's unclear where the child got that gun, but at last check, no word on charges. After learning State Highway Patrol dismissed 2 troopers who lied about a deadly crash, the family of Tyrone Mason say that investigators need to go further. Body camera video recorded Sergeant Matthew Morrison telling Trooper Garrett Macario to lie about the chase to responding RPD officers. Both men were fired June 16th. They were suspended back in January. The attorney for Tyrone Mason's family says that State Highway Patrol still has a lot of work to do.
If you don't dismiss over 100 cases, you don't fire officers if everything was done by the book. And I think, the video speaks for itself.
The community knew that the firing of these officers was the right thing to do.
Mason's family is currently suing former Trooper Macario and is in the process of suing Raleigh Police. We reached out to both Macario and Morrison for comment, but both declined and referred us to their attorneys. The Trump administration cannot stop Harvard from welcoming international students to its campus. A federal judge indefinitely blocked the administration's attempt to stop the university from accepting international students. The Trump administration accused Harvard of not properly vetting incoming scholars from other countries. Homeland Security is granting federal funds to help Florida build an immigration center. Alligator Alcatraz will hold detainees awaiting deportation. The facility is expected to be built on an abandoned airfield in the Everglades. Secretary Kristi Noem says the funding will come from FEMA's Shelter and Service Program, and it allocates funding to cities that take in recently released migrants and asylum seekers. This story was very big that we covered yesterday. 5 people recovering from injuries they received during an American Airlines flight ending at RDU. And a spokesperson for the flight says that from Miami to Raleigh, it experienced turbulence. Now, they say 3 of those people were flight attendants and 2 were customers. Airport rescue personnel, along with Wake and Durham EMS, met the flight when it landed on Sunday. And one passenger compared that flight to a roller coaster that never ended.
The whole cart went up, the flight attendants went up, cups went everywhere, ice, sticks, all that stuff was just, sort of like flying all around.
In a statement, American Airlines told us, quote, "We thank our crew members for their professionalism and our customers for their understanding." Now, some passengers questioned the explanation, though, that turbulence was what caused the injuries. Summer blood donations are urgently needed to help support local hospitals. Every pint makes a difference, and that's why the Triangle Home Services is teaming up with the Blood Connection for a community event. Give a Pint, Grab a Treat begins today. It's at 3, and it's happening at Triangle Home Services headquarters in Apex. Donors will receive a $40 e-gift card and a free local treat on site during that event. Your time's 8:40. Saving on cell service. 5 on your side reveals the easy way to save big bucks on your mobile plan. Plus, brokerage battle. 2 companies are headed to court over private home listings. And folks, brace yourself. We've been talking about it. It is a WRAL weather alert day with temperatures expected to hit at least 100 degrees again. Elizabeth Gardner will explain just how hot that heat index could feel.
844, a rare extreme heat warning in effect for us today and again tomorrow. The heat index 110 to 115, and it's already heating up very fast out there. We do have 2 counties under a heat advisory, which is one step back, but still dangerous. 104 to 109 for Moore County and Hoke County for today. We take a look at what's going on out there right now. Town by town, temperatures are mainly in the mid 80s, 87 in Durham, 81 in 86 in Holly Springs, 84 Fayetteville, 83 Goldsboro, 84 in Rocky Mount, and the heat index is already up in the 90s. The heat index is likely to climb into the triple digits by 10 or 11 o'clock this morning. Actual high 102. And honestly, you think, oh, if it's a hot day, the pool is a great place to be. But with temperatures in the triple digits, it's really too hot to be at the pool this afternoon as well. And don't forget about the cars. At triple digits, the temperature inside your car warms up fast. At 10 minutes, it feels like 119. At 30 minutes, it feels like 134. So just make sure that you're paying very close attention to what is in your backseat. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. The good news to report that closure that we're seeing on Chapel Hill Road in Morrisville completely reopened. Chapel Hill Road now completely reopened. We're still seeing that congestion on that in Johnston County, I should say, starting at Cornwallis Road, going all the way back to McGee's Cross Road. Your best bet is to use Highway 50 as an alternate route to avoid what's happening there on I-40 coming into the capital city. You were seeing the usual jam up on the southern loop of the Beltline as well as the northern loop of the Beltline. It's what it looks like, courtesy of a live cam network. This is I-440 and New Bern Avenue. You can see the bumper-to-bumper traffic moving forward. And as you get ready to head out the door, you're probably looking at a 7-minute delay if you're taking that northern loop of the Beltline at this hour.
So if you think your cell phone bill is too high, well, you're probably right. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur explains how you could save up to $500 a year on phone service.
We are all looking for ways to save money right now, and this might be a great place to start. You can get similar service for less money, and the key is often to go with a smaller carrier.
The big 3 wireless networks, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, dominate the wireless market, but smaller providers called Mobile Virtual Network Operators, or MVNOs, can charge less for service since they rent space on the same networks built and maintained by the big 3.
U.S. Mobile, Consumer Cellular, and Ting top our ratings, beating out the big guys on value and customer support.
To find the best deal for you, check your bill or your phone's settings to find out how much data you use each month. You may be paying for more than you actually need.
Smaller companies typically offer more options, including lower data plans, and some even let you add on data as needed.
And to keep your current number, remember to activate your new phone before canceling the old one. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
The House of Representatives can no longer use WhatsApp on their government-issued devices. The Office of Cybersecurity says it's unknown how the app protects individual data, creating a potential security risk. Meta says it does not agree, though, with the decision to ban the app. Target says it's keeping some of its back-to-school item prices the same as last year's, and customers will see similar deals. A list of 20 must-have supplies for under $20 and a backpack for just $5. Discounts will also be offered to teachers and students, and shoppers could also find deals from July 6th through the 12th during the retailer's annual Target Circle event. McDonald's faces a new nationwide boycott today over rollbacks to diversity efforts and other grievances. The advocacy group, the People's Union USA, is behind this. That's the same group behind other boycotts, the ones at Target and Walmart. And McDonald's in January altered its DEI initiatives, and that was to include no longer setting goals to increasing the diversity and senior leadership available. But the company says while some DEI language is different, well, the core of the program, that hasn't changed. There is a lawsuit that could change how and where real estate listings are shared online, and Compass is the one claiming that Zillow's website engages in anti-competitive practices to dominate digital home listings. The lawsuit centers on a new rule from Zillow. Essentially, Compass claims that it would make it harder for home sellers to list their property outside of Zillow. Cancer rates are rising in young adults, and doctors in North Carolina are trying to figure out why. A brand new WRAL documentary, Diagnosis Young, the new face of cancer in North Carolina, investigates why this is happening. 1 in 5 colorectal cancer cases are seen in people younger than 55, according to the American Cancer Society. More young people are also getting diagnosed with breast and uterine cancers.
Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how healthy you are.
This is a random process that can happen to any of us.
What can we do to move forward? Because I don't want to die. So what do we need to do?
We're going to look at why doctors and researchers believe the food we eat could be a big factor and why this is happening and what's being done to save lives. Diagnosis Young, the new face of cancer and NC, airs Thursday at 7:30 on WRAL and on WRAL's YouTube page. Doctors are embracing new innovations in weight loss drugs. These innovations could make them easier to take and require injections less often. Drug maker Amgen says that it developed a longer-lasting GLP-1 injection. It's one patients could take once a month instead of once a week, like other popular medications. Meanwhile, Eli Lilly says their GLP-1 pill is showing promising results and could be widely available next year. It would be the first oral weight loss drug. Researchers are also working on a new combination of drugs that could help patients lose weight without losing muscle mass. More than 7 million people have Alzheimer's disease in the United States, and now a new blood test could help with early diagnosis. The new test is for adults over the age of 55 showing signs of the disease, and symptoms include memory loss and decline of other abilities, such as being able to use logic and language. Doctors say early diagnosis improves the odds of delaying or even stopping progression of symptoms.
We can use these blood tests to help differentiate conditions, because often when we see patients in the clinic, we're not sure if they have Alzheimer's disease or if their memory problems are due to something else. It could be strokes, could be other diseases such as Parkinson's disease. So these blood tests help us in differentiating what the underlying cause of the disease is.
The blood test could also speed up the process of finding participants for clinical trials, and that could lead to quicker developmental or potential medications. All right, we do want to get to Elizabeth Gardner right now on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. Elizabeth, when you have to go from a shade of red to fuchsia to describe the heat outside, that's when people need to pay attention.
Yeah, this is very rare. We don't see extreme heat warnings here very often. Meteorologist Chris Michaels has been talking about that. You can find his story about how rare this is on WRAL.com. Heat index could feel like 100 to 115 this afternoon. We take a look, heat advisory down here for Moore and Hoke counties, where it'll feel like 105 to 109. So just very dangerously hot across our area. The heat index topping out at 112 is something that we've only seen 8 years in the last 80, and all of those have been since 1999. So we do increase our heat, of course, as we're going through time, as we're continuing to warm the planet. Today and tomorrow, both WRAL weather alert days for intense heat. We're going to see another extreme heat warning for tomorrow, and then the rest of the week also will be very hot, most likely heat advisories posted. Here's a look at downtown Raleigh right now, and it looks very hazy, and it's really hot out there already. 87 degrees, our dew point 75, and that's already making it feel like 97 degrees. So 84 in Fayetteville, 85 Goldsboro, 87 in South Hill right now, and it's feeling like 90s everywhere already. Current temps in the Triangle, 86 Apex, 83 in Garner, 87 in Holly Springs. So it's a fast warm up out there. We'll likely hit 102 in Raleigh, 103 Durham, 101 in Fayetteville, and that will break record highs. Why is this happening? It's an area of high pressure that's sitting over the East Coast, bringing sinking air. That sinking air condenses and it just heats up, and so that's why we're dealing with this for multiple days in a row.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Fragile ceasefire as President Donald Trump heads to NATO, the summit today after brokering a deal.